Hello, hero collectors here. How's it going, everybody? Hope y'all are doing fantastic. I know I am, and today I'm going to be trying to do a really quick review of the two Marvel Legends 2-packs from the Thunderbolts. We have the US Agent and Sentry 2-pack, and then the Red Guardian and Yelena 2-pack. I've had these for a little bit. Was slow goings, not because of these figures are bad, but just I needed to get in the right mindset to take photos. I finally got that mindset, and I've taken photos, so now let's go over these figures. All right, starting out with the four here is John Walker, the one with the least amount of new, given that it's just the head here and then one accessory that we'll go over that is new. Everything else we have previously seen on the John Walker Captain America figure and the previous attempt at a U.S. Agent figure. This corrects a lot of issues with that U.S. Agent figure, mainly the messed up stripes. So I'm glad I waited and didn't repaint mine, my previous one, and that we did get this new and improved version. They did not fix the gun. That is still molded into the holster. But you can see just throughout, it is, I don't want to say it's a black. It looks like a really, really dark gray that he's molded in. But he's got all kinds of different silvers, reds, and, white. A little bit of smudging here to the torso too, make him look dirty. I do appreciate that. And then the head sculpt, which looks pretty dang good. It's got the stubble to it. Now, maybe this is a reused head. I'm not 100% sure. I thought maybe with the stubble that it is new. I could be very wrong on that. I haven't fully fact-checked myself. But, here he is. I really don't have much else to say in terms of going over the basic figure. He does have a set of fists here on the figure. But then he does come with a set of trigger finger hands, but no gun to go with them. I feel like there was a Marvel Legends gun already in the tooling that they could have used. I gave it to him, I think, in a photo or two, and I will probably pose him with it eventually on the shelf, but yeah. And then we get the shield here, which is nice. Brand new mold, still uses the clip and pin system and has the same detailing for the straps that you would normally see on a Captain America shield. But here it is all different. We haven't seen a shield like this because it has no real star molding. All the rings are different, and then it's got some nice red metallic and all kinds of scuffs on it. I really like the scuffs detail. It is a nice touch. But now going over the articulation, he is on a ball at the top of the head. You can look up that high, down that far, not a lot. You can get some good tilting and of course rotation side to side. Shoulders do go up that high, go down, full 360 biceps swivel, double jointed elbows, all the hands hinge down and up. He's got a ab crunch, go that far forward, that far back. It does break up the paint here. They did not paint through the torso crunch, or the ab crunch I should say. Waist swivel, belt gets out of the way, you can adjust it. I believe, no, it is not keyed in. Okay, I was going to say it's keyed in, but if you do put it down too far, it may look a little weird. It likes to rest naturally there. Likes to go out that far. Can't go forward. Thigh cut. Double jointed pinless knee. Can't quite kick his own butt. It's actually quite far back. He's got a boot swivel. Feet go up. They go down. And he does have ankle pivots. What are my final thoughts on John Walker? This is a pretty good update that I do appreciate. I think the biggest complaint I have with this figure is the missing guns. And maybe an alternate head. Give us a proper bearded, unmasked John head sculpt and then the gun, and I would say this is pretty perfect. Otherwise, I think it's great. The updated deco to fix the previous mistake, I appreciate that. The new shield, all great. I think the face printing looks perfect. I don't think you can get closer than what they did here. So overall, I'm pretty satisfied with this figure. It's just the one with the least amount of new going on. Does he have the fun factor? Yeah, I'll say yes. In fact, I'm probably going to say yes for all four of these. They're all pretty decent figures, come with some decent accessories. And in particular to John, I think the shield really comes in handy, and once I gave him a gun, he was that little bit better. So I will say yes on the fun factor. Then for a final rating, I'm going to give him a 7 out of 10. Decent figure, not perfect, but glad to have it. Moving on from US Agent, we have Bob, aka the Sentry, who looks really good here. I really appreciate how well this figure turned out with the golds, the blues, a different gold here painted on the belt and on the gauntlets, but it's still, and little bits of detail all around. But still, I love how this costume turned out just in general. And then gold and blue boots, got the cape. It's not the most pliable cape, but it's not the most stiff either. It can get out of the way, it can allow for posing. Looks pretty good. Face deco is amazing. It's like a mini mini Sentry here in my hands. I'm blanking on the actor's name at the moment, but yeah, that deco is fantastic. It's got a nice color variation there within the hair. You can see all that darker blonde throughout. Yeah, no real paint to the cape. I like the S. It all just turned out really well. I've seen a lot of people say the hands are a little big. I don't think that's wrong per se, but it doesn't bother me really. Otherwise, I don't really have a whole lot else to say. You know, he's got some nice texturing throughout the suit. You know, even the bits that look a little smooth do have some texture, just like in the movie. So I think with that, let's go over his accessories, which is going to be really quick because all he has is a set of fisted hands and a set of kind of relaxed hands, which I think we've seen these before, and maybe the fists too. That's why they may seem a little large on the figure. But with that, let's go over the articulation. He has on a double ball, so I believe there's a ball down at the base of the neck and a ball here at the head, so he can look up that far, can look down a bit, not the best, can look side to side, of course, and get some pivoting in there. Shoulders do go up that high, can do a full 360, just kind of have to work with the cape. He has a bicep swivel. I will say the plastic reaching that high on the bicep swivel does get in the way, like when you want to bring the arm in like this, it runs into the torso a bit, so just be wary of that. It was kind of a hindrance, but not the worst thing in the world. Elbows do go that far in, which is about as far as they can go. All the hands hinge down and up. He has a cut here at the diaphragm, so he can not really go back much, can go forward a tiny bit. He does swivel here, and he, of course, can pivot, and he does have a waist swivel, so you can see that. I don't know why. I would have liked just more range, like if we got a double ball at the torso, but instead we just get a waist swivel and a diaphragm cut. His legs go out perfect splits, which is amazing. I love how they managed to do that. I hope that they continue to do it for future figures. Can kick that far forward. He's got a thigh cut. Double jointed pinless legs, knees I should say, and you can see here some of the swirly twirly plastic if that does bother you. It doesn't really bother me, but it is there. Can't kick the back, his lower back all day I should say. No boot cut, but his feet can go down, can go up, and he does have ankle pivots. So what are my final thoughts on this Sentry figure? So this Sentry was my most wanted of the 4 from these 2 packs. And I think it turned out amazing. There are some quirks, some things that I wish were different. My biggest issue is the torso. It needed a lot more range, especially for a flying character like this. I know he didn't do a whole lot of, like Superman-esque flying, but it would have really been nice to be able to do something like that with this character. And then the neck articulation playing into that would have been nice, just getting that little bit more range. An alternate head, maybe where he had a more stern expression and his eyes were golden, would have been nice, because he does have kind of a laser vision, but not exactly. But that's really it. Otherwise, I think it's a pretty satisfying figure. I don't have a whole lot of complaints otherwise. I think he turned out pretty dang great. In terms of fun factor, I'm going to say yes. And then a final rating, I'm going to give him an 8 out of 10. He is probably my favorite of the 4, but that doesn't mean the rest are bad, so let's get into the next one. Next up, we have Alexi, aka the Red Guardian here, looking pretty good. Initially, when this costume was revealed, I did not care for it, but it has grown on me, and I think the figure here executes it pretty well. Its main color scheme is a silver, a dark red, a more normal red, and this cream color, just kind of throughout the figure, different places. They even did like separate color molded pieces plugged into other colors, like here at the thighs and at the chest and whatnot. So they really did a lot with this guy to do the different parts of his costume. Let's see up here at the shoulder pads. These are on the ring system. I will say with this head sculpt, the eyes just seem a little too far into the mask. I don't know. It just seems like it juts out a little too much. Doesn't flow too well with the head, but otherwise I think it looks fine. Beard looks pretty good. And I think the only reuse is the boots on this guy. Everything else I think is brand new, which is pretty sweet. He's got pinless there at the legs. And at the elbows, he's got holsters here. I guess we're going over the accessories. For some guns, I don't remember him using guns really, but I appreciate that they're here. You know, I'm not going to complain about extra accessories, but I really just don't remember that from the movie. And of course, he has a set of trigger fingers here. I'll go over the articulation on those in a minute, but he also has a fist hand and a kind of grip relaxed hand thing, gesturing hand, whatever you want to call it. And that's it in terms of hands. I would have liked to have seen a complete set of these. I don't know why they seem to be doing this trend of a fist and a hand like this for recent MCU figures. Kind of bothers me. Come on, Hasbro, just give us the full set of each. And then he is the only figure of the 4 to come with an alternate head, and I think this likeness to David Harbour is pretty great. He even got the matching gray to the beard for both head sculpts, and he's got the kind of, I don't know what you would call it. I want to keep saying the 5 o'clock shadow, but it'd just be the recently shaved head, but you can see the stubble, I suppose, painted on there. So yeah, that looks pretty good. I don't really know which head I will be displaying him with. I kind of want to lean towards the helmet, but I don't mind this head either, so to be determined. But now to go over the articulation, he has a ball up here at the top of the head. I don't believe he has one at the base of the neck, so we can look up that far. He can look down slightly. Beard gets in the way. Can turn his head that far, and he gets some pretty good tilting, I'd say. Again, shoulder pads are on the ring system, so they will rotate with the arm fully. Can go all the way around. Can go up that high. He's got a bicep swivel. Double jointed pinless elbows. Then these hands hinge side to side because they are trigger finger hands. I will say one thing about them. The peg is flesh colored, and just it's kind of distracting that it's flesh colored here because it kind of breaks up the glove sculpt, but it is, you know, it's not all completely covered because of that. I don't know. Just something to mention. There is that. The torso has a diaphragm cut, so we can tilt, rotate. Of course, lots of clicking there. Can go back pretty far. You can even see the inside peg. I don't know if you guys can see it with the light, but I can. And he can crunch forward a bit. I guess you can see that from the side how far he can go back. He does also have a waist swivel, just like Sentry. Belt is kind of a free-floating piece, but it doesn't go up onto the torso. Hips can go out that far. Can kick forward. He's got a thigh cut. Double jointed pinless knees. Cannot kick his own butt. He does have a boot cut. Can rotate like that. Feet go down. They go up. And he does have ankle pivots. What are my final thoughts on this Red Guardian figure? So, I don't really have a lot to say about Red Guardian here. I think this figure executes the costume pretty well. The only articulation I really have a problem with is the neck, I guess. You know, it doesn't quite get the range I would love to see, but it's not a hindrance. The biggest issue I have are the hands, really. I would have liked to have seen a complete set of fists and those kind of loose grip hands, and I do appreciate the fact that he has an unmasked head. He's the only one to have an alternate head, and I think it's a shame that the others didn't, but I'm glad at least Alexi did here. Does he have the fun factor? I'm going to say yes. Again, all 4 of these figures are great. Alexi's fun, especially when you pair him up with the others. And then for a final rating, I'm going to give him a 7 out of 10. Again, not a perfect figure, but for building out the Thunderbolts team, I think it is essential and a pretty good, satisfying figure to have in general. Last, but certainly not least, in fact, my second favorite figure of these 4, we have Yelena Belova. I have been in desperate need of a better Yelena figure. I've been rocking the Black Widow movie version of Yelena for a while now. I I picked up the Hawkeye version, but didn't keep her because I didn't love that costume. But I do like this costume here. It's kind of just a, not even olive green, but just kind of like a dull green jumpsuit. Lots of texturing throughout. We got the black boots at the bottom, the widow stingers here at the wrists. She does have a little bit of paint for like a gray going up these stripes here. Got the little buckle there, some shoulder pads, that. A little bit more green at the top of the torso, and just an excellent likeness. I think this is the best Yelena likeness we have out of all three figures. Easily the best. Definitely tops the current Yelena I have. The belt here has a bit of gold. Going over to the holster. We'll talk about these in a second. But yeah, come back around to the figure. Looking pretty good. Again, she's got some color wash in that hair. Even the earrings are painted. Over there, got the eyeshadow. Just looks fantastic. I love how she turned out. Now to go over the accessories. She has a set of batons here. Look pretty good. There's no real color to them, just whatever they're molded in. But the figure does have these loops here that are just molded in that you can put this on like so. Looks pretty good. And then she comes with this little knife. She does not hold it very well, but it is there if you want to use that. And I will admit she does not hold the batons very well either. We'll go over the hands here in a second. But then she comes with this little gun. I believe we have seen this before. It's got a little bit of black paint there at the kind of handle or the grip of it. But yeah, to go over the rest of the accessories, we just have a set of fists here, and then a set of trigger finger hands, which I would have liked to have seen maybe a set of proper grips to hold the batons and the knife, but this is all we get. It's better suited for the gun, and you can kind of make it work with the batons, but they like to fall out still, so a different set of hands would have been nice. Now, I said different set of hands. I mean additional set of hands would have been nice. But now to go over the articulation. Yeah, I think that's a cut. No, that is not a cut at the neck. So she has a ball at the base of the head. Can't look down that far, up that far. She does get some tilting, of course, and then side to side. Shoulders do go up that high. Shoulder pads don't hinder too much. Full 360, bicep swivel. Double jointed pinless elbows can go in that far. All the hands, or no, these hands hinge down and up. The trigger finger hands hinge side to side. Torso here, we just get a diaphragm cut that can rotate, of course. Can't go that far back, that far forward, and it's pivoting there. Legs go out that far. The holster is not hindered because of that strap. Or the hip is not hindered because of the holster strap, I should say. And then she can't get that far forward. A little bit of thigh cut there. Double jointed pinless knees. And if you really push it, she can kick her own butt. There is no boot cut, but the feet can go down, can go up, and she does have ankle pivot. So what are my final thoughts on Yelena here? So Yelena is one that I have been not really dying to get, but like was severely needing because of the previous Black Widow movie, Yelena, and just the fact that, I don't know, I feel like she was a character that needed better representation in my collection, and I think this does do the trick, but does have some faults. The biggest faults are the hands not gripping the weapons. I think a tighter set of C grips would have been better for that, just including those, and then the torso articulation. If she would have had a bit more range at the diaphragm or a second joint where the belt is, she would have been a lot better. And I think those are my biggest complaints. Otherwise, I am very satisfied with this figure. She does have the fun factor, like I've said with all of them. I did have a good time posing her around once I did sit down to pose her. And then for final rating, I'm going to give her an 8 out of 10. So her and Sentry are my top two favorites, and John and Alexi are my bottom two. And not that those are bad figures, but that's just where they rank. All right, and that was my trying to be quick review of these Marvel Legends Thunderbolts 2-packs of US Agent and Sentry and Yelena and Alexi. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. Do you agree? Do you disagree? And what other packs do you want to see? I know it's rumored that we're going to be getting a Valentina and the Void. I would also like to see Ghost and Bucky. Uh, would you also like a Taskmaster figure? I personally wouldn't, but I know there's some people that might. So let me know all the things down in the comments below. And while you're down there, make sure you are liking the video and are subscribed. And I will talk to you all in another video, another post, another time.